Hey guys, I've got a nice little treat for you here today. This game is brought to us by a member of the channel here. He sent it in to me. He saw this on Kickstarter through Kira TV, did a video on some Kickstarter games, and he liked it enough he ended up backing the game. Now, before you freak out thinking about like, oh, Kickstarter things asking for money, they've already met their goal. So there's nothing in here in this video is like sponsored or trying to get you to go give them money. I just want to show you the game because it's pretty promising looking. The studio sounds really cool. And Kira TV, when he saw it, his response, I believe the exact words were, "Whoa, hold on, man. Are you trying to make me come?" Or something along the lines, right? Something like that. It's pretty good stuff. So the game is called Mandragora, and they say it's an RPG style game that is a mix of like Metroidvania and Dark Souls inspired. So we've got that kind of like a darker theme aesthetic going on in the game, along with some kind of Souls-like combat and such in there. You've got your different classes. There is a talent system, and the way they describe it, it sounds sort of Path of Exile-like in the way all of the trees from your different starting points, they do connect inside of there. So you can work your way over, you know, as the warrior style character toward the spell style, right? And make these mixed custom classes, which this is one of those things that tends to be kind of cool in, I know Path of Exile is not single player, but in single player games, you tend to be allowed to do more fun, crazy, custom, unique builds, and you're allowed to become overpowered because you're not breaking the game for other people, you're only breaking the game for yourself. A good example of this is Elden Ring, right? And how you can make some pretty gnarly, crazy builds in that game that'll just like, right, they got the laser beam where you just hold the laser beam out until you melt the boss. You can do all kinds of weird, crazy stuff in the game because it's mostly a single player game. They do a little bit of balancing and such because they do have some PvP stuff in the online mode, but mostly it's a single player game and you're allowed to do really crazy stuff. They say the game will be a very story-driven game where your choices really matter. They mentioned being inspired by like the good story of The Witcher 3, and they say that it's going to be full of very difficult to make decisions that are really going to affect the world that you're in the game. That sounds great. That's another thing that I do personally really enjoy when I'm engaging with a single player style game. There's a few other things that really excite me about not just the potential of the game here, but also this game studio. The game studio, they say, has been founded by all these people that have like a 14 plus, like the average inside of the company is 14 plus years of experience working on games. And the average was, the accent's pretty thick. I couldn't tell if he was saying 13 or 30 games that they've worked on and shipped already, right? So it's not a totally new indie studio that has no idea what they're doing. They say they've worked on projects for League of Legends, for Riot Games, right? They're one of those like little studios that the big studios hire out to do some of the work for them. Obviously, they're pretty talented. Everyone knows Riot's reputation for putting out quality. They wouldn't be getting hired by Riot for League of Legends if they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, right? So there's a lot of promise here in the studio. They're independent. They say that their goal is to remain independent. I love that, right? Independent, and they specifically mentioned, right, because they don't want the outside pressure to potentially kind of influence and ruin the vision they have for the games they want to make. Like, that's so good. Mwah, it's beautiful. Love to hear that. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you very much to all the YouTube members and the patrons. If you would like to support me on my dream to make this a full-time thing, feel free to join on the Patreon or here on the YouTube members. I would really, really appreciate it. I'll catch y'all in the next one.